And there is. You know, the last time I came here, and this won't be fair to those of you who weren't here the last time I was here, but I was working on a thought that was still in process. And part of that thought was um, this fact that in a land far away called India, there's a city called Varanasi. And Varanasi within the Hindu culture is a place where one can go there and be cremated. And if one chooses that as your destination within Hindi culture, if that is where you decide to depart this plane of existence, there is the highest likelihood that you'll go straight into nirvana. So Varanasi within the Hindi culture is a coveted place to go when you are making your exit. People from around the world, if they are able to afford it, have their bodies flown there to be cremated. Or they also have hostels where you could spend the last couple of weeks of your life. Not trying to bring that up, Zach, but there's a point that I'm getting to. And the point is that at Varanasi, because the process of cremation is the way that people are making that exit or transition, there is a element there that is required for that to happen. And that element is fire. And the people that are there that are managing this process of cremation for hundreds and thousands of people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This fire has never gone out in over 3,500 years. This custom of cremation in this way in Varanasi is supported by a fire that has never gone out. This fire has been burning longer than the Dharma. It was burning before the Buddha. Through all the world's wars, terrors, disasters, loves, losses, calamity, this fire has never been permitted to go out. And the people that tend that fire, the practitioners, if I will call them that, are known as the Dhammaraja. And they are committed to that practice of keeping that fire going. And they've been doing it over 3,500 years. This is their practice. And their practice is to stand at the gate of the final transition. And they're there in service to all humanity. And they're standing there in their practice, covered in ash and soot and dirty fingernails and the filth and the smoke and the ash of that service. What we've seen here, I'm not trying to compare the two things, but these elements of smoke and ash and flame is just part of their practice. And a byproduct of that is that my impression is that because of what they have devoted themselves to, they live in a cycle of life where they are constantly being reminded that this life is temporary. Their conditioning has to be altered about what's important because they're literally carrying the ashes from that fire to the Ganges River and they're sifting the ashes into the water. Maybe finding a ring or a trinket in the basket, the sifting basket, and then they go back, purify themselves in the Ganges, and go back and do it again. Why am I talking about this? Honestly, I don't know. It's just been in my spirit, like vividly. But these recent times and these current times, what's today? January 26th, 25th, 6th? We're not even 30 days in to the new year. And we're already being faced with these ideas of what are we doing? What was I supposed to be doing? Something along that spectrum of just bewilderment. Geopolitical is just one of them. United States political situation. That's a new one. And it just contributes to the bewildered kind of thing. But if we are more invested in the non-conditioned life experience, then we really will begin to see that winning isn't everything. It's temporary. And losing isn't so bad. If you want to call that losing, or the end of something, or the outcome of something didn't come out the way I wanted it to. In the Dharma, they call that dukkha. It's not that an experience has to be just just like insanely painful. It's just that everything that I touch, taste, see, can feel, experience has a shelf life. People, places, and things. They have a shelf life. Some expire faster than others. And when I say expire, I don't mean necessarily death. I just mean that they change. We change. We change falls into another principle of the Dharma called anatta, which is the idea of not self. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't count all of you. There's over 15 selves in here. Plus online, there's like 25 or so. Non-self is this can be this big loopy topic. Like, am I here? Am I not here? So on and so forth. And yeah, you're here. But it's just acquiring the appreciation that you're here, but you're changing all the time. And one of my favorite jazz artists that I'm really learning to appreciate is named Charles Mingus, and he's no longer with us. But one of the things that he used to say about himself, he'd say, in my music, I'm trying to play the truth of who I am. But what makes it so difficult is the fact that I keep changing all the time. And that's anatta. That is not self, non-self. In our conditioned experience, we are solid, present, weigh so and so number, so and so height, so and so width, whatever, all the dimensions. And yet we're not a fully physical, unchanging entity. We're literally changing every moment. So there's dukkha, there's anatta, and the last one is impermanence. When we were sitting in here and Claire was mentioning about the rain dancing on the roof, and we all heard it and felt it, and we were kind of adjusting to it. I think we were all kind of adjusting to it. And then after a while, it went, and I felt the change in the atmosphere because the rain stopped. And there was this eerie kind of welcoming silence that kind of fell upon us as we moved out of that deeper period of personal reflection called meditation. You remember that? It's like, wow, that's impermanence. When we began, I even used the word distortion because we had the HVAC and the rain, and I'm asking you to kind of like be cool with it all and to make space for it and try and enjoy it a little bit and be available to it and let it live. And it just seemed like it just intensified. I was like, I can't say anything else about that. But then it ended. On one hand, there's a lot of gratitude for the fact that it is raining and that that's going to address a lot of the calamity that's happening here with fire. But impermanence, non-self, and suffering, or the low shelf life of all experience, are what make up the human experience. And you'll find these three elements comprised in what are called the three marks of existence. Why are we talking about the three marks of existence? Because these are the things, the lenses whereby you can observe your conditioned patterns and how there's really nothing holding them up. What do the three marks of existence contribute to? It contributes to something called a wise view, which is the first principle of the Noble Eightfold Path, which happens to be the subject for this month on Sundays. So we have to ask ourselves, do we want to see things and continue to see things the way we want to see them? If so, we have to ignore impermanence. We have to ignore dukkha, and we have to ignore non-self. Because what we see are colored by those things. If we want to see things exactly as they are, then those three things, the three marks of existence, will be very beneficial. Does anybody really know or want to see reality as it unfolds in the present moment, moment by moment? Do you really want to see reality? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I say that a little jokingly, Zach, because reality seems to be over there. Or if I do this, then I'll get a deeper experience with reality. Or, I need some conditioned thing that I can enter into a short period of time to experience some deeper aspect of myself. There's a whole plethora of places and means of doing that. However, I think we have to, I don't know if people are asking for reality. I know the world's not giving it. The world is offering a lot of distraction from our connection to ourselves. So I guess I could rephrase the question and say, do we really want to be connected and in touch with ourselves? And maybe in doing so, we can become more in touch and familiar with the nature of reality. And we won't be as susceptible to outside kind of influences trying to disrupt this connection that we've made, that we're invested in. What am I saying? From the Buddhist perspective, the three marks of existence, impermanence, non-self, and the truth of the unreliability of all conditioned experience lead to something, contribute to something called a wise view. And a wise view is a way that we can begin to see the very nature of reality. And it's not out there, it's here. I feel like I went deeper than I needed to. Does this land in with you? It's Buddhist philosophy. I have other ways that I could say it, but not right now. But if we look at the pain, if we look at like how painful it is to look at the world right now and how there just literally is nothing that seems worth paying attention to, where are we going to go? There's just no good news, but there is good. And so I'm just simply inviting this idea of moving to find our sustenance more inward than outward. I love MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, all Joy Reid, all of them. I love them. I love them. But they're not giving me any good news. They're not raising my vibration. They inform me, but I'm left very hungry and parched. And they're part of the conditioned reality. Partition. How do I want to live? Do I want to live based on those parameters? Or is there something else? This is a serious question. And this practice is a vehicle whereby we can explore, really seeing for ourselves what can we, what is really worth, what's a way that I could really make my life worth living? Not to mention, on another level, that these times don't exactly inspire this pursuit of a full and well-meaning life. Some people want to check out. Some people are tired. It's painful, but it's not the only that's not that's only if you're looking at one option or the couple of options that you think were gonna do it for you. There's some other ways. I want you to just give yourself a chance to know that even though there's so much chaos and calamity, that there's still something to be explored. And maybe it's taken this much of our lives to really become more invested in that. Scarred, bruised, all the hell we've gone through. And we're like, okay, I can appreciate this now. I'm half crazy. But I can see the benefit of what's been trying to get through to me all this time. And I'm not as invested in that as I am in myself now. I want to be happy now. I want to explore. I want to find my voice, my vibration, whatever, the people I need to be around. Because the world is not going to give that to us. We have to find that ourselves. We've gone over time, people. I'm sorry. Zoom people, family, I appreciate your time and your attention. Um, we don't even have time for Q&A because I kind of went on too much, but I really want to wish all of you well. If you want to Google the three marks of existence or wise view, they are kind of synonymous and they go together. I encourage you to do that. That's the theme of this month in our teaching, as far as I understand. And Alexis, did you want to say anything before we closed out? Okay. All right. So people, I want to invite you to just take a deep breath with me on the count of three. One, two, three, and inhale and release. And then notice the vibration and the feeling that comes in the wake of your exhale. It's worth seeing. I bid you all peace, safety, laughter, and some happiness. You may laugh before you get happy. I'm just saying. It happens that way sometimes. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes.